tire industry is colossal, estimated to be worth over $100 billion globally, and it's still growing. Tires are everywhere. Cars, trucks, buses, every vehicle needs them. And there's a strong chance yours were made by Goodyear or Firestone. These two giants have been fierce rivals for over a century, shaping the tire industry as we know it. Their dominance was so significant that, in the 1970s, the U.S. Justice Department tried to break them up to prevent a monopoly. Although the case was eventually dropped, it highlighted just how powerful these companies had become. Today, Goodyear remains the largest tire manufacturer in the United States, while Firestone is now part of Bridgestone, the world's largest tire manufacturer. In this video, we'll dive into the fascinating history and evolution of these iconic brands, exploring 6 key categories that tell the story of their rivalry. The origins of Goodyear and Firestone are rooted in the industrial boom of Akron, Ohio, a city that would soon be known as the rubber capital of the world. B.F. Goodrich had already set the stage by relocating there almost 30 years earlier, transforming the area into a hub for rubber manufacturing. Though Benjamin Franklin Goodrich passed away in 1888, his company thrived throughout the 1890s by producing bicycle tires, riding the wave of the decade's bicycle craze. This, combined with the growing demand for tires for buggies and the early automotive market, made Akron the ideal place for budding tire entrepreneurs. 2 men, Harvey Firestone and Frank Seiberling, were particularly inspired to join the booming rubber industry. Frank Seiberling founded Goodyear, named after Charles Goodyear, the inventor of vulcanized rubber, using a $35,000 loan from his brother. The company grew rapidly, achieving $500,000 in sales in just its first year and doubling that by the next. By 1916, Goodyear was the largest tire manufacturer in the world, largely thanks to a groundbreaking deal with Henry Ford to supply tires for the iconic Model T. Firestone's journey was equally compelling. Harvey Firestone invested $10,000 to start his company in Akron, and his big break came in 1906, when Henry Ford placed an order for 2,000 sets of Firestone tires, the largest tire order of its time. This moment catapulted Firestone into the forefront of the tire industry, setting the stage for a fierce rivalry with Goodyear. The rivalry between Goodyear and Firestone wasn't just about market share. It was also about who could innovate better and faster. Firestone made waves in 1908 with the development of the first diagonal non-skid tread, an idea personally sketched by Harvey Firestone himself, revolutionizing tire safety. They followed up with the invention of low-pressure balloon tires, which provided a smoother ride, and even pioneered synthetic rubber during World War II when natural rubber supplies ran dry, proving their adaptability in times of crisis. Not to be outdone, Goodyear introduced the first detachable tire in 1904, making tire changes easier and more practical for motorists. And let's not forget their monumental achievement in 1971, supplying the first tires for the Apollo 14 mission, literally taking their innovation to the moon. These groundbreaking contributions from both companies have undeniably shaped the tire industry, pushing the boundaries of what tires can do. Marketing has been a battleground where Goodyear and Firestone fought fiercely to win the hearts and minds of consumers. Firestone, for instance, strategically targeted struggling farmers during the Great Depression with its bold "Put the Farm on Rubber" campaign, helping boost their sales at a critical time. They also made waves with The Voice of Firestone, a commercially sponsored radio program that captivated audiences for over 30 years, establishing Firestone as a household name. Not to be outdone, Goodyear created some of the most iconic marketing symbols in history. Their winged foot logo became synonymous with speed and reliability, while the Goodyear blimp soared through the skies, giving fans a bird's-eye view of major sporting events and becoming a symbol of excitement and adventure. Goodyear didn't just advertise, they made their brand a part of unforgettable experiences. Both Goodyear and Firestone have faced some intense challenges over the years that tested their resilience. Goodyear was investigated by the SEC in 2003 for accounting irregularities, a scandal that shook investor confidence. Firestone, meanwhile, faced even more public scrutiny with multiple high-profile product recalls, most notably in 1978 and again in 2000. The latter recall, involving defective tires linked to numerous accidents, not only put lives at risk, but also severely damaged their long-standing relationship with Ford. These setbacks were major blows, but both companies demonstrated remarkable perseverance in overcoming these obstacles. Nowhere has the rivalry between Goodyear and Firestone been more intense and thrilling than on the racetrack. The battle between these two giants played out in front of millions, adding fuel to their fierce competition. Firestone made history by winning the first ever Indy 500 and went on to dominate the event for years, making their mark as a force to be reckoned with. But Goodyear wasn't far behind. They quickly took the lead in other racing arenas like NASCAR and Formula One, becoming the tire of choice for champions. The rivalry reached a fever pitch during the iconic 1966 Le Mans race, where Goodyear tires proved their superiority in the challenging rainy conditions, forcing Firestone to take a back seat. This epic showdown showcased the unrelenting spirit of both companies, each vying for victory in the most public and exhilarating way possible. The 1980s were a turbulent time for the tire industry, with massive consolidation reshaping the landscape. Goodyear had to fend off an aggressive takeover attempt by a British investment group, fighting tooth and nail to stay independent. Meanwhile, Firestone faced its own shakeup, as it was acquired by Bridgestone in 1988, catapulting the Japanese company to global prominence. Michelin also stepped into the fray, acquiring B.F. Goodrich to create a powerhouse that directly challenged Goodyear's long-standing market dominance. It was a decade of high-stakes maneuvers, where only the strongest survived. The world of tires is far more fascinating than it appears, and the century-long rivalry between Goodyear and Firestone has been a driving force behind the innovations that keep us all moving. Now it's your turn. Let's settle this debate. Who do you think has truly come out on top in this epic rivalry? Which brand do you trust the most when it comes to your tires? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the brands you know. Thank you for watching.